I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air. 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome into Pro Football Today, the pregame party, the party that we tell you so much about week in and week out for Monday and Thursday here on SportsGrid TV. It's about that time for things to go off. And no, we're not just breaking down one game. We've got 2 games to get into tonight, which means the fun gets that much more ramped up. And as you all know, you're hanging out with myself, Kasey Hudson, Dave Sharapan, Tom Vecchio, and Adam Kaufman. And, well, let's see what kind of mischief we can get into tonight, gentlemen. We've got 2 games, Jaguars versus Bills. Get things going first. This one opened up around a 5.5 spread. As I just looked at the lines, it dropped to 4.5. I don't know what the sports books are telling us, but we've got a king here that'll break that down shortly. The total sitting at 46.5 as well. That has not budged, so luckily we don't have to get too mysterious with that one. And then for the Commanders versus the Bengals, coming down later in the slate, 7.5 spread, and then 46.5 total as well. A lot to unpack with these matchups. A few teams with a lot of pressure on their shoulders. But let's start with you, Dave. How's it going on this Monday? It's the second day of fall, and we got a doubleheader.
Oh, it's great to be here at the party. And if we didn't have enough going on, now we have 2 games to talk about. So it is like a double party. And for the young guys like Vecchio, he's dialed in. And Adam's always dialed in. I know you got it under control, driving not just on the highways in Jersey, but getting us here to this point. And I'm ready, Case. I mean, I'm ready. There's all kind of things happening.
I think you're ready. Kaufman had to clear his throat a couple times. I didn't know if fall was getting to you quite yet, but I'll tell you this. Maybe it's a spoiler, Adam. I don't want to ruin your stride here, but Adam's got some surprises up his sleeve today as I roll up mine. So while we're not going to wait for Dave to do an outfit change, just be on the lookout for the pregame party for Adam to throw some surprises out there, to say the least. But I guess I'll start off with this, Adam. Which game in particular are you probably more excited about before we get to unpacking?
Yeah, look, here's a surprise. I'm surprised I'm here. Should I be talking about the Red Sox and Blue Jays tonight? I don't know what all this football nonsense is all about, because we've been doing this show for a few weeks, guys, and I've given out a lot of plays that I have liked that have hit, I guess, in fairness to me. But in terms of stuff that I have loved, the stuff that I have had real conviction behind, the stuff that I was wagering Dave's house on, you know, I couldn't be coming closer. I mean, it's fallen short. I'm losing money. I need like a rubber room to throw myself around because I'm spending hours talking to myself. Sharapan here, he's feeling it with all these pictures from the book. That's because he lives there now. Because again, I got rid of the man's house. The NFL has been drunk through 3 weeks. I don't know how you can sit here and reliably bet anything that we have seen in this league. It's just underdogs, not only covering, but winning outright. So in terms of my excitement level, here's what I'm excited for. I don't know if it's realistic, Kasey, but here's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for maybe, I don't know, some games to actually play out the way that we think they're going to, which, common sense would tell you, all right, we're probably going to get a lower scoring game between the Bills and the Jaguars. Common sense would tell you the Bengals win going away against the Commanders because they're 0-2, should be feeling urgency. Joe Burrow's healthy. A dreadful secondary on the other side with Jamar Chase, one of the top receivers in the game. And oh, by the way, you're getting T. Higgins back. They should be covering the number and then some. But again, reliably, we can't see any of that this year. So I guess I'm just sitting around being prepared to be stressed out again. That's pretty much where I'm at. That's why I keep clearing my throat.
You're borderline about to be taking crazy pills. And then the one sane one amongst us all, Tom, at least you've been feeling a little more settled, a little more stable when it comes to the sports books. We know that last week all of us were pretty much under the gun. But then this week, some of us gauged things a little bit more responsibly. Some of us, I said. Tom, you didn't get as rattled yesterday because you and I got to hang out for the post-game show. But let me know your thoughts on the two games going down tonight and if there's one that you are more excited about.
I'm certainly more excited for the Bengals and Commanders. Getting T. Higgins back to the Bengals, I think, is a big thing. But, Jaden Daniels has looked good for the Commanders, and he's being really efficient. He's completing the ball at over 70-75% right now. So I think the Bengals are in a spot where they need to figure things out quickly. And I have a specific take for that game on how I think the Bengals are going to operate. I think the Commanders will absolutely cover. I like both underdogs. I like both unders tonight. I like a lot of unders for some player props. I like unders specifically when it comes to one of the teams, two of their running backs. I'm not expecting a whole lot of offense tonight out of some of the teams. I think we are in for games that could go either way. I think the desperation factor for the Jaguars and the Bengals, two cat teams, I think is very interesting tonight. I'm ready to get rolling. I think the Bills are in a spot where if they get caught off guard early, we can see offense flying back and forth. Despite the fact that I lean on the under, I think there is some offensive potential in that game.
I love how you set that up. It's time to bring the claws out because that's where I'm going next. You got a Jaguars team that has to get the job done. There you go. If you all want to throw it up. A Jaguars team that has to get the job done, not wants to get the job done, has to. And with that being said, as the pressure continues to build, we have not seen an elite performance out of Trevor Lawrence thus far, and he has got to step up to the plate. But most importantly, what's kept Jags from being utterly embarrassed, their defense. You got to give their defense credit where it is due, and their defense is the team, the part of the team that can help them kind of contend versus the Bills tonight. They're really only giving up 19 points per game, but that also goes head-to-head or mirrors what the Bills are giving up. So what are we not seeing, or what are we seeing when it comes to the sports books, King Dave? Because when you see this under 46.5, and obviously the defensive battle that should come into play here, obviously it's an attractive under, but desperation changes things. And as Adam so poetically put it, we've just seen a lot of crazy football in the past 2 weeks.
Without a doubt, dogs have ruled. And I think a jaguar, is that a cat, I believe? And
it's
a bill is a big family. Okay, it is. And then the Bengals is also a cat. I don't know what a commander is. It's not in any of the things, but it's not in anybody's selection. It's not. So, all right, you got dogs not just covering the spread, but winning outright. NFL first 2 weeks. There's a lot of people in survivors that somehow avoided the landmines of the past couple weeks and yesterday on Cincinnati. That's the one I'm looking forward to more for that reason. And I wore the Bills stuff already. I don't want to come on here and be boring and wear the Bills stuff again, but I like the Bills a little bit. I think the under's got to be the play in this first game. You got good defenses. You got, I'll say it, average offenses right now and running offense in Buffalo. So rushing props are very popular today in Buffalo. And I'm going to guess that somebody has Trevor Lawrence's rushing yards over today without seeing nobody's plays. It's like a magic trick like Carmack used to do, Johnny Carson. I'm just going to go. Somebody has Trevor Lawrence over. How do we do?
We're going to circle back to that. That's how we're doing. Adam, let me know your thoughts in terms of possibly, potentially, the defensive battle between this one, but more importantly, are the Bills going to be able to take that next step offensively, or is it going to be the Josh Allen show? Because we know that when they get stumped on offense, it's Josh Allen who throws the cape on his back and gets things moving.
All right, well, first, for Dave, I just want to let you know that I was with you, Carmack, Johnny Carson. I'm old enough to remember. I don't know about Kasey and Tom here, but I remember Johnny Carson, so I got it for you. Look, I know that Tom will be the first to scoff at this, meaning that, year to year, roster turnover, coaching turnover, matchups, all of that, it really shouldn't matter. But if you do care about the trends, since 2018, so it's a handful of years, obviously, but since 2018, the last 4 times that the Bills and Jaguars, because they don't see each other often, the last 4 times they have matched up, we have seen the under 46.5 total in all 4 of those games. I do expect that trend is going to continue tonight, as I've already said, as Tom has said, as Dave has said. I mean, that's right off the hop, that's something that we're all in agreement on. As far as how we get there and how far away we are from the number, I know we'll explore that over the course of the show and what props that we like. But yeah, I think offense in both, for both teams is going to be challenging. Couple that with the fact, pardon me, that it's an island game and prime time. We tend to see the lower scoring games to begin with.
Yeah. All right, clearly a lot more to unpack. Stick with us as we go to this quick break.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League. Said they're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back into the Pro Football Today pregame party with myself, Kasey, Dave, Adam, and Tom. And Adam was just breaking down, well, basically what these 2 offenses need to do and maybe some player prop bets that'll prevail as we see not a stale game, but largely under the 46.5 total game. You broke down some trends, some consistencies. We're trying to logically approach this one and not get screwed by the books. Outside of that, the trends that have been taking place with the underdogs. So let us know, Yeah, sorry, Dave. It's just it hasn't been a kind time in the past
As the
2 weeks.
resident book guy, I take a little bit of offense to that. At least he always comes on the air and says, I'm going to smash the books and beat your man and all this other stuff.
I didn't
Nobody's
bring
trying to beat
violence
anybody.
into it. I just wanted
we're
to
trying to steal from the books, Dave.
Yeah, I just
we're not
wanted
trying to,
books in the corner.
endear ourselves to the books. We want the books' money. We want to rob the books.
Fine, listen, the book wants yours too. That's fine. That's okay. It's all right. It's a game. I want to ask both of you before you start with the props. Quick question, in case we'll throw it back to you on the way back out of this. 2 games, one total a little higher than the other. Are either of you, one, neither, doesn't matter, looking at one game more tonight to be involved in props than the other?
Fair question.
I have 2 from both, but I have a little more exposure to the Bengals game overall.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on,
Adam,
I'd agree with that. There aren't actually too many things in this Bills-Jaguars game from a prop perspective that I like. So I would tend to agree with Tom on that. I'm more intrigued by that second game. I just expect I'm not going near the total in the second game. Neither would surprise me. The over, the under, I think it's a pretty efficient number. I think that the Bengals offense is just so bound to come alive. This is arguably, if not arguably, the worst secondary in all of football that the Bengals are going to see on the other side with the Commanders. I mean, they have already been torched by the Giants, the Daniel Jones-led Giants. As Malik Neighbors went off, we have seen Tampa Bay, that Bucs offense, eviscerate them as well. Now I know there's more talent there than there is with the Giants. And now, again, I mentioned it earlier, T. Higgins is back after missing the first couple of games, returning from his injury. Jamar Chase, a little bit of a slow start to his season. I think this is the Jamar Chase game. I've seen a lot of people in this space not only playing the over 79.5 receiving yards for him, but laddering him up 100, 125, 150. Whoa. Just expecting that Chase is going to go nuclear against that defense on the other side. And so that's where I expect the Bengals to score a lot of points tonight. But honestly, I don't think the offense is as good as Josh Allen's Bills offensively have been so far through a couple of games. I don't think we're really going to see that tonight. The Jaguars, say what you will about them, I don't think they're a very good football team, but their defense has been very good. It's allowed a total of 38 points through 2 games, albeit in both losses, because Trevor Lawrence and that offense stinks.
That's one way to put it. But all right, Tom, maybe you could bring some life to this conversation, because while we talked about some cats, we've got to see if at least the Jaguars have some dog in them and can pull off a big fight here, or at least stick within the spread. A lot of people are kind of loving laying the points when it comes to the Jaguars. Is there any player prop that's at least it can be appealing, knowing that offense might not fire off, but defense might keep them in this one? I mean, there's 2 or 3 that come to mind, and somebody said earlier, too, we're looking at a big ground game here, so there's got to be something flattering in the rush yards. Talk to me about these dogs.
So for both backs, or I should say both backs on the Jaguar side of things, it's going to be a really interesting split of what we see from Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. On the other side, it's super clear what the Bills want to do with James Cook. We saw it on the Thursday night game, which we did against the Dolphins. Give him the ball 20-plus times. They want to get him involved in the passing game a little bit. They obviously want him to be the main usage guy in the red zone. And I think it's interesting to note that we didn't see Josh Allen attempt for a rushing touchdown last week against the Dolphins because he was dealing with that left hand injury. And if that continues to be the case, it's going to be Cook at the goal line, Cook inside the 5, so that's very interesting. When it comes to Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, Tank Bigsby got off to a good start in week 1 against the Dolphins, but the balance that they have between them is going to be, I want to say, up in the air for some games. Just one main, or I should say Bigsby would be the player to not be involved. Etienne is the mainstay when it comes to their offense, but if things aren't working well, Tank Bigsby will be involved. So I have interest in the tight ends in this game, actually both tight ends, which should interest you, Kasey. The running game, I think, could be an issue for the Jaguars, because if they fall behind, the running game is not the way you want to go about things. They need to get the ball moving in the air. So let's start off, at least for the tight ends in this game. Let's go to the Jaguar side with Brenton Strange, who stepped into a solid role in week 2 because Evan Ingram is out. I expect him to continue that. And I expect him to hit the over on his yards. It's only sitting at 23.5, which is a number I certainly like. We should see Gabe Davis as the number 1 guy. Revenge game for Gabe Davis. Brian Thomas, number 2. Christian Kirk will be number 4. And Strange will step into that 3rd role overall for their passing offense. So I want to go to a player prop from that side. I also want to go to the other side for the Bills for Dalton Kincaid for his first touchdown of the season. Regardless of what you think of him in a slow start in the first 2 weeks, he plays a good red zone role this year, last season. And given some of the ambiguity that we have when it comes to the Bills' passing offense with Khalil Shakir, the rookie Keon Coleman, there's an opportunity for Dalton Kincaid to be that number one guy for Josh Allen on a week-to-week basis. So Dalton Kincaid for a touchdown, Brenton Strange over 23.5 yards, 2 tight ends.
Look at this. Our friendships are just blossoming so nicely here on the Pro Football Today pregame party. Tom, I love it. I love any love for the tight ends. And I will add this to it. Red zone target percentage within 20-yard line. You got Kincaid that's sitting at an 83% target rate. So they try to get him involved. This is the game where they can most likely help him find the end zone and hopefully a nice end zone celly. I will also throw this out there because we talked about rush yards and stuff like that. Trevor Lawrence combining his passing yards and rushing yards to see what he's done against tighter defenses, quote unquote. I think that he can accumulate over the 242.5 because he's going to try to use his legs when he panics, obviously. And then you mentioned the injury for Josh Allen. Under attempts became appealing to me not only because of the injury, but more so the fact that he is going to either hand the ball off or he's going to use his legs as well. His ground game comes to life even more if he's going against defenses that stump him just a little bit. But obviously, we got a lot more to get into here on Pro Football Today, the pregame party. So don't go anywhere. We got a whole nother game to get into. More prop bets, more head-to-head, and a same-game parlay party coming up on the other side of this quick break. So stick with us here on SportsGrid TV. We'll catch you on the other side.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League. Said they're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back into Pro Football Today, the pregame show. Kasey, Tom, Dave, Adam, the party's all here, but right now it's time for us to ramp up this party, get a little louder. I made the guys sing during the break so that everybody was hype and excited because it's time for us to get into some same game parlay. Let's roll it, gentlemen. If only there was a song for you guys to just go and continue off of after that little riddle goes. But Adam, get us going. What's going on with the same game parlay party today here on the Pro Football Today pregame party?
It's too bad geographically we're all so spread out because we could have one hell of a time at karaoke. I know some of the crew is going to AC after the show. It's too bad we're not part of that caravan. My goodness gracious. All right, so look, in terms of my SGP, and maybe, just maybe, I can win Dave over even once. I don't know. Maybe he's already decided. He's siding with Tom, sight unseen. There are 3 legs that I have put together for a 5-1 parlay that I think, again, intuitively make a lot of sense. I don't need to spend a lot of time on the under to this first game in the Bills and Jaguars contest. We've spent a lot of time on it already, but I do like the under 46.5. Again, say what you will about the Bills' offensive potential, as undermanned as it continues to be, despite Allen leading the team to 30-plus points in each game so far. The defenses on both sides are very strong, so I like that a lot. The next leg, the Bengals. I've already alluded to this. I understand that the numbers are very much against me. You know, dogs just keep covering, winning outright, biggest spreads on the board, seem to go sideways, go the other way. This is a Bengals team, guys, that we went into the year talking about as a Super Bowl contender. If that is true, if that is legit, we need to see Cincinnati rally from its desperation. Look, if they go 0-3, so never mind not even covering the number for a moment. If they lose tonight, in general, especially to a team like Washington, led by Jaden Daniels, the rookie quarterback, if
You're
they
bringing down the
lose
party,
this game,
Adam. You're on the party.
if they lose this game, they are not even going to make the playoffs. So they need to win. They need to win emphatically. They need to torch an absolute putrid secondary on the other side that, again, even Daniel Jones went ham against. And so, yes, I like them to cover. You could still get a 7 out there, a rogue 7, but even 7.5 outside that key number, I like it. I like Cincinnati to get the job done. Again, win this game emphatically. And that third leg kind of goes hand in hand with that, which is it's time for Jamar Chase to wake up. All right. He has had a couple of, decent games with regard to receptions, but the yards are low. We saw Joe Burrow in this last game against the Chiefs in leading that comeback prove that he is healthy. There are all sorts of concerns in week 1 against the Patriots when they were knocked off by the Pats at home, no less. And it was, is he healthy? Is he dealing with something? What's the problem? No, he's fine. And he showed last week that he is fine, and he's going to be fine. And now tonight, he can unlock Jamar Chase to where we see him 79.5, 80.5, please. I like him to go for 100-plus tonight. We're just going to respect the number for the sake of the parlay. But I think Chase is going to have a monster performance against that secondary. So, again, you put those 3 legs together, you are getting 5-1. And I think it is just do it together. I think it makes sense. I think it's a smart bet, Dave. But maybe Tom will have something that wins you over a little bit.
Vecchio, what do you got? You got to hit Vecchio, quick. Let's go.
I'm keeping things along the same lines. It's a little more simple because I'm starting off with the Bengals money line. I think they win. Again, as I said, there's some interesting things when it comes to Commanders offense. So I'm starting off to win. These are not nearly the same odds that Adam has. It's only up at plus 278. The Bengals are going to win. How are they going to do that? They're going to do so by Joe Burrow, as Adam said, tearing apart this bad secondary. He's going to go for 250 plus.
Yes.
But then that means the Commanders are going to push into a passing game script with Jaden Daniels going for 200 plus. He's completing the ball at over 70%. And again, if he has the options around him, which he does, I think we're going to see a little bit of back and forth offense. So Bengals win. We see Burrow pass on the great yards, and then Daniels pass as well, having a very solid game for him. He also gets his first touchdown of his career tonight.
Dave, you got a lot to digest there.
That's a lot.
The bottom of their legs are slightly questionable for me. Like, there's a limp there, fellas. There's a small limp there.
Whoa.
I just
Dave may need to take the break to digest here.
I think so. I didn't mean to throw that at you guys like that. I had to get it out there. I couldn't keep it in. That's how you know we're becoming better friends, because my honesty just jumps out of my mouth before I can even think twice about it. So while you digest that, Dave, and while you fans at home process these same game parlays, once we get back from this quick break here on Pro Football Today, the pregame show, we're going to get Dave's reaction. We're going to see if he finally picks Adam. So go nowhere. Stick with us as we come back to this quick break.
going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back into the Pro Football Game Party here on SportsGrid TV. Kasey, Dave, Adam, Tom, all hanging out, and we just wrapped up a same-game parlay, but what we did not get was Dave's reaction. I threw a little kerosene on the fire there as we went to commercial. Sorry, guys. I'm here to be the flair for the dramatics. I did a small limp in both same-game parlay cards, and it was that last leg there. But, Dave, let me know which one appeals to you. Which kid gets the card today?
I got to put my thinking cap on right now before I throw it back to you because I want to hear your same game parlay case. We always get to do the boys, and we didn't get to hear yours. But let me put on my thinking cap. It would be the team that would be undefeated in the NFL, one of the best teams in the league.
Minnesota Vikings?
I didn't wear the Vikings hat. I didn't wear the Vikings hat. No.
I can't believe this is legal right now. This is not legal. You put on a Steelers hat.
Behind me. That's okay.
Let's hear it, Kasey. Come on.
My thoughts are my parlay.
What?
Which one?
Your parlay.
Give it to me. Come
Your
on.
same game.
Right now. Yes.
All right, it's really chill. So nobody gets super excited about this, okay? Like I had my first big win this weekend, and I'm humbly just strolling along here. But I combined. It's not massive money. I kept it within the same range that I won last time.
Okay.
Joe Burrow over 261.5 passing yards. Joe Burrow over 1.5 passing tutties. And then Jaden Daniels under 195.5 passing yards. This comes out to plus 316. Hence why.
You and Tom going head to head on
exactly.
Mr. Daniels.
Hence why I had a little mafioso moment. Got to take some kneecaps out so that only one of us are going to make it past the finish line tonight, Tom. Just so you know. I'm small, but here we go. Pick a card, any card.
Now in a very precarious position of trying to decide between the three people on this show. Well, 3 of us, I know, but Adam always has a decision. Adam's a little older, and he just fires stuff at you all the time, and it's hard to keep up. But you two cross the streams. I don't know what to do. My first thought is Tom's parlay is what in the business is known as a lot more correlated, okay? You got the Bengals winning on the money line, so you don't have to worry about covering the spread. Smart. Burrow passing yards over. This is the Bengals get right game. I agree with that 100%. You guys are on it. Case you got the tutty. I think he throws for 2. That's good too. Daniels is the question. I don't know how much he throws. because if they get down, he's going to have to throw to come back, which means would push me to the over. Okay? So, Case, don't take it personal, but my first thought is over. And now with Adams, Adams has been working for a couple weeks now, 2 times a week, coming in with these parlays, all kind of good stuff. He's all over the place. The payout is good. I like this. Chase to have a big game. Yes. Bengals to cover the spread. Maybe. Game total. Under is
risky.
Probably the better play of the two. It is risky because I feel like the Bengals are going to put up a 30 spot minimum.
No, remember the under's in the other game, not this one, not the Bengals game, the other game.
All right. Well, this one says under in the Bengals game, so maybe
that's why I was coming through the
kneecaps.
No.
Okay. Well, if you were listening to me talking, it's the under in the Bills game against the Jaguars. Don't worry about the graphic. Worry about the words coming out of my mouth.
Do you hear the words coming out of his mouth? I hear you now. I hear you now. Go ahead, Dave.
Same game parlay would involve the same game, Adam. So if we're talking about
it's the same game parlay plus. We have 2 games tonight. It's SGP plus. That's not against the rules.
He just brought out a limited edition to the game.
This is what happens. A guy like
we got 2 games. You think I'm not going to make a parlay involving both games? Pick one. How boring is that? Kasey,
in your case,
we were asking too much of him to just to do that. And then we said surprises, and we can't let Adam go out of Adam fashion. I mean, come on now. That's like me saying that I'm not going to come up here in shoulder pads that should have gone out in the 80s. But Dave, taking mine out of the mix for just a second. Let's keep a scoreboard of what we've done thus far. Tom has been your leading child, but does Adam finally get some affection tonight? Does he finally win something?
Well, now
you
now
won
that
plenty,
I know,
but does he win bigger?
Now that I know that Adam is saying that the graphic is not right, I used to tell people this in the book forever. When you get a ticket that comes out of the window, or you go to put a bet in on your app and you mistakenly do it, you leave it because it wins like people's first bets. Almost like 90% of the time, people win their first bets. The mistakes are good. So I am going to buck the trend previously up to this point, and I'm going with Adam if I have to pick one of the 2 parlays to come in.
Look what happened to double header Monday.
But I don't even feel like I won there because Dave's not even saying he's going with me. Really, he's siding with the graphic, which is what I'm saying was not even my play. So Dave is Dave is siding with whoever made the graphic.
Well, at least yours had 2
I'm not taking
on
that
it.
win. No.
Oh,
I am 0-2-1 then. I'll take the tie.
That's what I was going to say. Now we got to make it a tie because, to be fair, he was, here and there on the end, on the last leg for Tom's, and he's here and there leaning towards the graphic on yours. So
listen, I think
this is
of the
easy
6
math,
legs,
guys.
Case of the 6 legs, 5 of them are winning. I don't know, like that. These look good. If you're thinking parlay, like I got a really good friend. I call him J. Lou. He's driving right now. He's listening to the show, and he said, Casey's parlay is winning. It's literally what he just texted me right now. But I think if it goes right, Bengals have a night. 5 of those 6 things on those parlays win. And Case, I think 2 of 3 minimum win on yours.
No, I'm going to do you one better. I won. That's the math that just mathed with all of this. I am the straight out winner here because I think mine makes the most sense. I love Tom's brain, but when I look at the numbers and we predict where the crazy is going to come in here, I think the crazy is going to come into the fact that the Bengals have to pull off not a win, they have to pull off a freaking win that says Joe Burrow's healthy and he's going to lead in this. The Bengals are going to be plus whatever in this. All that hype going into this season, that's what's on the line tonight. That's what they have to live up to tonight. You don't just get by the Commanders. You completely exploit this past defense with Joe Burrow in the pocket, finally healthy, and everybody else in company that's supposed to be in the mix. This should be an over total, no excuses. Outside of that, then you got Jaden Daniels. Well, that's cool, Heisman, all the things, but he's averaging 185.5 yards. And what the Bengals just did versus the Chiefs.
But if he gets down big and he's going to have to be passing to catch up,
the
and then you're
Bengals
in trouble with
just kept
that.
Patrick Mahomes under 200 passing yards. Are we speaking English or Spanish here? Come on, I could do it in both for you. Oh, no.
What's the last thing Patrick Mahomes has won?
Look, you're not gonna get me to sit here and do exciting math when it comes to the Chiefs, but I'm putting out the statistics, okay? They were able to put in work against the Chiefs, and now you're talking about Jaden Daniels, who, supporting cast-wise, yes, he's got some guys, but I don't see him touching 200 yards, and if that happens, guess what? I owe you all coffee, and good luck finding me, gentlemen, because we don't live in the same or city. We have more to get into with this game. We figured out who the winner of the same game parlay party is. It's me. I'll buy myself a crown. But on a realistic note, we do need to figure out what value also comes into play here when it comes to this matchup. I clearly already made my case to the fact that the total is just too touchy for me. If the Bengals do live up to the expectation, this total should be obliterated, hands down. If that's not the case, we're all disappointed. But we do have to give some love to the Commanders side of the ball and what their ability is going to be to at least make this game a lot more interesting. And then, of course, I'll give my flowers to Daniels. I know Joe He's a big fan of his and thinks that he's going to have the biggest performance of his life every single week. We haven't seen that yet, but maybe tonight's the night. Maybe one of you guys can bring hope and shine some light to that situation. But we'll find out. I'm just really happy to have won money this weekend, and then now I just won same game parlay, which means you SportsGrid fans can go absolutely nowhere. We've got more of this pregame party to go, and plus we've got some long shots and some game specials. We got a lot more wicked things to throw into the mix, so stick with us as we come back from this really quick break here on Pro Football Today, the pregame show on SportsGrid TV.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back into Pro Football Today, the pregame show with Kasey, Tom, Adam, and Dave. We had to bring ourselves down a notch, okay? I got very excited, guys. Clearly, I have warned everyone that my humility and my hingedness just, it's hanging on by a thread sometimes. So we figured out the same game parlay stuff. We started to discuss this Bengals-Commanders game, and as I mentioned earlier, 7.5 spread, 46.5 with the total. Tom, let's start with you. What's the logistic approach to this one? More importantly, trying to not get too caught up in the spreads and stuff, or too caught up in the underdogs, too caught up in all of that. What is the most logistic approach?
It's going to be, going back to what we said, where this is the Bengals' chance to get things going in the right direction from an offensive perspective. And I said this to Ben and Donnie this morning, where I'm envisioning this to be a bit of a mix between week 1 and week 2 of what we saw, where week 1, they're, a little bit slow. It's week 1. They're kind of going through the motions to get in the rhythm of things. And now they had T. Higgins back into the mix. So, after missing 2 games with a hamstring injury, getting him back involved, getting on the same page between him and Chase, which we know can be phenomenal, this needs to be the focus of the offense tonight. So, as Adam said, this is one of the worst secondaries in the league. We should see prime Joe Burrow pushing the ball downfield to 2 fantastic receivers. That should be the starting point for the Bengals. So, if that is going to be the case, they are going to put up points, as Dave said, a 30 spot, which means I maybe should double check their team total and be hitting the over on that. But it means a lot from Joe Burrow, passing attempts, and like Adam said, laddering up Jamar Chase, I think could be the right way to do things. I'm a little more hesitant with T. Higgins because he's coming back from this hamstring injury. So I expect him to be involved. If we see, shots to the sideline where he's maybe sitting out a few series here or there, I won't be surprised with that. So I am cautiously optimistic for T. Higgins just because I want to see him out there. I want to see the Bengals operating at, full capacity. But I think Chase is the right way to go about things if you're targeting the Bengals and how they should be operating. I will say, as we get a little bit later in the show, that does lead me to the running backs and where I'll be looking for props on 2 unders for their running backs. But it should be as straightforward as possible for the Bengals tonight.
Okay.
If I can add to that too for a second with Jamar Chase, it just, again, something further supporting everything that Tom is saying and why I like the play. Something that we haven't acknowledged either is with the return of T. Higgins, that's only going to be better for Jamar Chase. With T. Higgins out there on the field, we don't know, as Tom said, what he's going to look like coming back from this injury, which is why I have not invested in T. Higgins at all tonight. I have not put him in any, 25 plus receiving yards, 2+ catches, like any low leg achievements and parlays like I normally would if we knew what T. Higgins we were getting. I have just sort of pretended he doesn't exist, except for the fact that if he is the Higgins of old, right? If he is a guy that can go out there and give you potentially 50, 75 yards, and remember, his prop is just below 50. If you do like the over and think that Higgins is going to look like the guy that we're used to seeing, then he is not a decoy. He is a real factor. And if he's a real factor, that means less attention that the team as a whole defensively can devote to Jamar Chase, because you have to keep yourself aware of T. Higgins as well. And if Higgins is capable of torching you, that means single coverage for Chase, and he can blow the top off of the place. I worry more about Chase when there's no Higgins, and we've seen that reflected in the first 2 weeks of this season. Tonight, not the case.
Yeah, I agree with both of you on this one. I mean, you don't want to touch the Higgins stuff too much, especially because for the most part, talking trends, when you're coming back from hamstring things, those are probably one of the top injuries to retweak themselves within a matchup. And this is not a game where they really have to air him out too much. I mean, they can utilize him as a decoy. They can use other options to air out the ball and exploit or go against a pass defense that ranks 22nd in the league. I mean, they allowed up 227.5 yards. That's something that doesn't even involve a T. Higgins that they can get done with other guys on their roster. Tom, I do want to take it back to you for a second because you mentioned having some love for the running back group. Let's go ahead and get into those props and manage our time because we will have some long shots and some other fun bets coming up in the next segment. So let's go ahead and break down these running backs head to head.
Yeah, let's get into the Bengals backfield. And it's not so much love. I think I'm actually leaning on the other direction. It's going to be 2 unders for both of their running backs. And let's start off with Zach Moss under 50.5. That's where it was listed yesterday, maybe 51 on some books with, a little more juice on the under. It's now listed at 48.5, which is at least as recently as I saw. As I mentioned, this is the chance for the Bengals to right the ship. The passing offense should be the priority. We're looking at Zach Moss under 50 yards. He has 78 yards through 2 games. He has not been hitting this mark at an effective rate. So I don't expect him to be the main guy for the Bengals. They come in with a 65.14 pass play percentage, and that should only continue with T. Higgins back in the mix. So under 50.5 yards for Zach Moss. And number 2 would be their backup running back, Chase Brown, under 9.5 receiving yards for Chase Brown. This number has moved to 8.5, which obviously I think I'm on the right side of things. He comes with a 4.7 target share. He has 3 catches and 12 receiving yards. all from week one. Again, when you're adding T. Higgins back into the mix, even if he's not at 100%, he's going to take target share away from some of those secondary and tertiary players. Chase Brown is only playing on 26% of the snaps over the first 2 weeks. He is not going to be a key guy. So under 9.5 yards for Chase Brown, under 50.5 yards for Zach Moss.
I actually really like that because if there's one thing the Commanders' defense can do, they have better chances of minimizing the run. They do sit 16th in the league when it comes to that. And as you mentioned, Moss has not particularly hit the stride that's been expected of him. He's probably somebody that has another layer of pressure on his shoulders. Less than a minute and a half, Adam, but do you have any player prop bets in this one that you are leaning towards or that you want fans to jump in on with you?
Yeah, as far as the running backs go, I do like Travis Etienne and going over his rushing prop, which again is sitting just sort of similar to T. Higgins in the receiving game. It's sitting just below 50 yards. So I do like the over there. But again, it depends in part how you see the game, right? If you believe that the Jaguars are going to keep this game close, even have a chance to win it, then they're not going to abandon their game plan. And Etienne has a solid matchup where he should get some decent run. If obviously they fall behind early and they're going to have to pass, that sort of sets things up a little bit differently. On the other side, James Cook, he's facing a really tough run defense that's weak against the pass. And so maybe he's more involved as a pass catcher and you invest as a rushing receiver combo kind of situation for him. We could talk about the other game on the other side, but that's how I see the running backs in that game.
All right. I'm a fan of it. Not to mention if we've learned anything by now, I love the combination plays because those ones tend to team up quite well. So as Adam mentioned, we got some fun on the other side, maybe some long shot bets, so don't go anywhere. We got more for you on the other side of this break.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Back at it here on Pro Football Today, the pre-game party, and as promised, the party continues to roll, and we get to throw more fun at you guys because we are going to jump into some like it, love it, leave it. Let's roll it. All All right, quick rundown on what we do here. We throw out either long shots, game special, something that we absolutely love that we want to make sure that Dave possibly potentially loves as well or hates it, doesn't matter. But we're going to see how he feels about the bets that we throw his way. Obviously, hints to the like it, love it, or leave it. So, Tom, you get the honors even though you didn't get to win the card today because I won. Go ahead and get us started.
Let's go back to one of those I just mentioned. Zach Moss under 50.5 yards again. Line is moving in the direction that I wanted. It's sitting at 48.5 now. Again, what we should be expecting from the Bengals is as straightforward as possible as a passing offense. They're going to pass at a high rate against a bad pass defense. Is going to push Zach Moss out of the game plan. The only potential worry I have is that they get up by 2-3 touchdowns in the third, fourth quarter, and they just salt the game away, and he sees a lot of carries, and he gets there based on attrition, not based on efficiency or the actual game plan. So under is the way to go for Zach Moss today.
All right, Glasses.
Nice work.
Where are we at? Like it?
Oh, we're doing an instant instant result. Like it, love it, or leave it. I think I love it. I think that the way this one goes is I expect more passing than rushing. So like it, maybe, love it, likely, leave it, forget about it. I love it. Good job, Tom.
All right, Adam. Time to cook. What are you throwing out there?
Let's go.
2 words. Jamar Chase. I don't know what else I need to say. Over 79.5 yards against that secondary. I don't need to make a case here. Look at what has happened against the Buccaneers and against the Giants. The thing that scares me, if anything, is heaven forbid Jamar Chase getting hurt. So long as he plays a full game, this should be the week that we see Chase go crazy on the field, go for 100+ yards. I know we're supposed to talk to Dave like he's the book. Well, if I'm talking to the book right now, the book is wrong. You know how sometimes we see Tyreek Hill with a line of like 95.5 yards? That's what Jamar Chase's line should look like tonight, because that's what we should be talking about him being capable of doing. Do we believe Chase is going for 100+ against that secondary? We're only asking him to get to 80 yards. You know how often receivers go for 80 yards in the NFL on a weekly basis? So Jamar Chase to go over on his prop. That is what I like and love, Dave.
That was well said.
You match his like and
very
love.
Good. Yes, look, all right, sometimes the book is wrong. Like yesterday, the book had the Browns minus 6.5 points over the Giants. Dead wrong. They had the Buccaneers minus 6.5 points over the Broncos. They were wrong. This happens. But, guys, the yardage prop is interesting. Game script will dictate this. Do you want a blowout or do you want a close game for you to get over this? It all could go out the window. I like it, Adam. I do, because he could get it in one big play, 50 or 60 yards. Free Chase, baby. Let him go. Chase, what do you got?
All right, gentlemen, I wanted to keep it interesting, but I'm not feeling too far stretched here. But it is a long shot, and I'm going with Josh Allen to pick up a tutty in the second quarter specifically at plus 300. Why would I do this? I know, of course. How crazy. But when they went up against the Cardinals gave them a little bit of pushback that was unexpected. I'm hoping that element of surprise kind of rolls into tonight's matchup because, like I said, if anything's going to help the Jaguars, it's going to be this defense. And if they present the element of surprise, if they kind of keep them close in that first quarter, well, the breakout comes in the second quarter. And where does the breakout lie? It relies on Josh Allen and his legs. There's no way that he doesn't go and pick up a tutty. Not to mention, we saw him grab a touchdown, 2 tutties, for example, in that Cardinals game in the second quarter and in the fourth quarter. When push comes to shove, he feels the pressure as you're going into halftime and as you're closing out the game. So I'm just going with a script of my own here, saying that Josh Allen picks up a tutty in the second quarter at plus 300. Like love, leave.
It is asinine that is even a prop that is offered.
One, it's crazy that this is a prop. 2, Kasey, you talked about speaking English and Spanish, and I'm going to ask this to you. ¿Dónde está Kasey? Because
right here.
Where did you even come up with this prop? I got to look at this thing on the menu. I think the price should be higher, Case. I think I'm going to say I'm going to leave it. Like, look, you can come back and tell me on Thursday when we can reconvene at the party that you were right. But
all right,
no
throw an
bueno.
extra party if that happens.
That should be at least 5 to 1. At least 5 to 1.
So, but we're talking about trends here. All right, more to get to on the other side here at the pregame party. Don't go anywhere.
there is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back into Pro Football Today, the pregame party with myself, Kasey, Dave, Tom, Adam, and honestly, just got a raving response from the guys on the Josh Allen tutty in the second quarter specifically.
You gotta look up raving in the dictionary.
Oh, no, trust me, I'm using it right, because what they don't know is I recorded their reactions because they were speechless as they're trying to come up with a way that just, like, was absolutely insane and did not make sense and was completely irrational. So at the same time that Tom stops talking, Adam stops talking, both of their heads flip up, and then you got just Dave just staring off. So clearly, raving. Gentlemen, let's continue to take things head-to-head as we've got.
Changed my hat. It was so surprising. I had a Steeler hat on. Now I got a Bengal hat on because we're getting closer to kickoff of that game. But
I know, but
Case,
look, this is how we keep things interesting around here.
Keep it moving. Let's go. This is a party.
Exactly. All right, so we were talking about some of the player prop bets that were most appealing for us. We got a rundown of the running back group from both Tom and Adam. Let's kind of take things head-to-head here when we are back to the Jaguars-Bills game, because that's the one getting ready to go down first. But when we're looking at the wide receiving group head-to-head and the expectation that may fall short or not there, Tom, we'll start with you. You're shaking your head, but is there a wide receiver that's probably got more appealing props in this one? We've talked a lot about the ground game existing, but as we know, the element of surprise is very much existent in this NFL season.
Yeah, let's touch on Gabe Davis, revenge game for him going up against his former team. They brought him in for a reason, right? They brought him in. They also drafted Brian Thomas. Like, that should be the duo that the Jaguars are focusing on getting the ball to ultimately. So when we have, I would say, a very clear-cut, somewhat defined roles, I'm not expecting Christian Kirk to be a big factor for the Jaguars in their passing offense. The ball has to be going to Gabe Davis, and honestly, the deep ball is what he was known for in Buffalo. So taking a look at his longest reception prop is something that I'm absolutely going to be doing. And on the other side with the Bills, as I've said it before, the ambiguity with the Bills' passing offense is something that's going to be in question game in and game out. Keon Coleman, great week 1, does nothing in week 2. We see Khalil Shakir, great week 2. What is he going to do in week 3? That's why I think there leaves an opening for some value to be found, because not all these players are going to be having big games every single week. And when we find value with someone like Dalton Kincaid, with someone like Keon Coleman, I think it makes this game a bit more interesting. We've seen Keon Coleman's number go to 34.5. It was in the low 40s last week. So I'm on board with a lot of these props. if we are expecting more points in this game. And ultimately, that means we should be expecting a lot from the quarterbacks, which we haven't really touched on in this game, which I would like to circle back to after these guys have something to say, because I think the Trevor Lawrence passing prop may be the most important prop of this entire game. I think it's sitting at 199 or whatever it is, if you can bring that up real quick, at 226. Whoa. If Trevor Lawrence hits the under on this prop, the Bills win this game going away. Like, are we in agreement on that?
Ooh, Adam shook his head a little bit. Right. Yeah, I was going to say.
Right, if Lawrence hits the under, if Lawrence ends with 170 passing yards, the Bills blow this game out. Like, Trevor Lawrence has to have a big game. So if he has a big game, that means the receivers are also doing well, which means Gabe Davis probably has a big game. Brian Thomas continues a strong start to his rookie season. And then we see someone like Brenton Strange, their new starting tight end. He would also have a big game. So I think the Trevor Lawrence passing prop may be the most important player prop of anyone in this game.
All right. I'm not against you on that one. Dave, what's your opinion on it? Because we had Trevor Lawrence put up 220 passing yards versus the Browns. Browns defense was kind of considered a little bit more serious earlier in the season, just being a week ago. But then versus the Dolphins defense only went through 162 passing yards and 1 tutty. Yet I am right there with Tom. I think he's got to surpass this number big time.
I think he does too for the game script. But more importantly, could you go back to that wide receiver one with the Bills in Jacksonville? Vinny, if you can find that graphic, I can't believe what's happening with the wide receiver graphic with comparison for the Bills. Yep, there it is. For the Bills and the Jaguars. Are these guys the number one options for each one of these teams? Because when this first came up, I thought that should have said RB battle in receiving yards. Kirk and Coleman, their over-unders is 42.5 and 34.5. This is a different NFL. I don't know what I'm watching with that. I can't believe it. And you guys are talking about quarterback passing yards over. We got to throw a lot of passes. Maybe completions or maybe attempts instead of yardage. That might be better volume-wise. I don't know. Adam, look at this stuff. Make heads or tails of it if you can, because I'm looking at a game where I think unders in play. I think we're going to have a lot of running. I can't make heads or tails of the passing. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, in fairness to Mr. Keon Coleman on the graphic there, that's like when the WNBA put out a graphic promoting the playoffs, and for the Indiana Fever used someone that wasn't Caitlin Clark. He's not the number one receiver for this team. It's Khalil Shakir, obviously, whose number is 46.5. It's still not robust. It's not, Jamar Chase, let's say, but it's at least a higher number than what you have for Keon Coleman. That being said, the guys that I look at on this Bills team in particular, and even just in this game, and I do like the Gabe Davis revenge narrative stuff. Tom and I were talking about that pre-show as well. I think that's fun. That's worthy to invest in just for something to watch. But two pass catchers, and I say that way intentionally, that I like on the Bills side that I would consider throwing a little bit of money at would be Dalton Kincaid at a modest 34.5. You can still get that number. I think he is going to be increasingly involved in the offense as the season moves along. Not so much in week 1, more so in week 2. He had a few more targets sent his way. And then the other one, maybe I'm surprising you a little bit here, but how about James Cook? I already mentioned the running backs. Etienne's in a good spot if the Jags can keep this close. For Cook, I don't necessarily like him to get 75 rushing yards in this game. I could be wrong about that. Again, you talked about it with like Chase earlier with one long reception. Cook could have one long run, 2 long runs, get you right there. But where I would want to invest with James Cook is as a pass catcher, because if they do stifle the run, the Jaguars, then Cook is going to be relied upon more in a check down sense. And his number, looking at it now, it's only sitting at 18.5 in 2 games this year. In week 1, Cook was targeted 3 times, had as many catches, went for 32 yards, practically doubled the number. Last week, in a game that, as we remember, we talked about it, we previewed it here on this show, a joke of a game script in the second half where everything was abandoned. Cook, I don't even think, played in the fourth quarter of that game. He was targeted only one time, and he had a catch for 17 yards, which very nearly got you to this same number of, again, 18.5. So even if he catches something short and breaks off a little bit of run, he can get there. So I like that number a lot.
All right. Well, it makes sense to me in order for any catches to take place. So, Tom, let's throw it back to you. You wanted to take some head-to-head action when it comes to these two QBs for the first showdown of the Monday Night Football night. What's your breakdown here?
Yeah, I'm on board for a lot of passing. We're still doing Bills Jaguars. Is that graphic?
Yeah.
One popping up. So yeah, I'm on with Josh Allen continuing to be efficient. Right. Obviously, the game script got a little out of control, as Adam just said in that second week against the Dolphins. He didn't have to pass a lot, but 228.5. His rushing prop, add that in combined, I think you can be looking there as well. I think, despite the fact that there won't be a ton of scoring in this game, I think the Trevor Lawrence prop is still by far the most interesting. Even if we don't see them score a lot, the game script will push Trevor Lawrence into a passing volume, and he will get there on the over because, again, if they don't, we're going to see the Jaguars get blown out in this game. So Lawrence has the most interesting prop because of the potential game script where they're playing from behind. Not saying it's like he's going to be a super efficient and he's going to be the best offensive quarterback in the world. I just think he has to get there if the Jaguars have any chance in this game.
Okay, well, I agree. I've got some things to add into the mix when it comes to the QB conversation for the Jags taking on the Bills, but my best bets will come later down the stretch. As you guys know, you're going to want to join the Pro Football Today pregame party all the time, every single week. Monday and Thursday, you have a chance to do just that. And then if you want to continue to hear the thoughts or any crazy other bets that we like to throw into the mix, make sure you're following each of these gentlemen on Twitter, X, whatever you feel like calling it, because the party doesn't stop here when the show wraps up. No, the party continues on Twitter.
I'm still waiting
we
for
support
Dave
each
to
other.
follow me.
We give shout-outs all the time, so don't go anywhere. Hang with us here on SportsGrid TV.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
You are watching Pro Football Today, the pregame show with myself, Kasey, Tom, Dave, and Adam. And we got to get some final thoughts on this doubleheader coming up tonight very shortly here. Gentlemen, it's so sad to say goodbye to y'all, and I already told the audience that they need to make sure that they're chatting with all of us on X because the conversation does not stop here. It continues to roll through, and I had so many other spectacular bets to surprise you all with. But you know what? Maybe I'll just throw it on the social medias for a surprise.
We have time, Case. We have time.
We do, but like,
just give us your bets. We always give our bets and always give our opinions. Do you have your best bets queued up? Because as the leader of the party, you're always pointing and directing and giving.
I am.
We're
Now I
now
wanna play.
sitting back and we're giving you, because you won. You reminded us all that you won
True.
tonight. Give us your bets, Case. You start this segment with your bets, and we'll fit in ours at the end. What do you got?
Ooh,
Come on.
that felt like a lot of pressure. I feel like I like to leave things on a high note. So since I already won, I'm gonna exit stage left with the W. But what I will do is throw out a fun special. I feel like I'm taking over Adam's job. He came in hot with all the specials, and then he just like totally cooled off there. But you're welcome, Adam. Before I toss it to you, how about this 2 Allens special? You've got Allen Hines Allen to record a sack, 1 sack at least, or an interception versus Josh Allen. Allen versus Allen, 6-1 odds. Tom's face. Would anybody give this one a look-see? Josh Allen versus Josh Allen.
It's 6-1.
6 plus 6,000. I think I said that correctly.
Okay.
That's a leave. If I'll harken back to the other segment. It's a leave from me.
He circled back. Adam, what's your thoughts? Come on, put some pizza money on it. What's it to you?
Yeah, of all the things that I do like to invest in, and there are many, I don't usually go near the sack market, getting into the individual defensive players stuff. So yeah, it's probably one that I'm not really jumping into either. But listen, I respect your love of the game. Go after it. I'll never tell people how to bet or not to bet.
Oh,
if you're you may as well invest in that if you're betting on Josh Allen to score in the second quarter.
I knew that was coming back up. I just knew it. You know what? We're going to get this conversation back under control. Tom, final thoughts on either of these games, both of these games, any other best bets you want to throw into the mix before we get ready to roll out of pregame?
I think the Jaguars, if they can come out and score first, I think they're live to win the game. I'm on board with everything we've said all night. I think the Bengals win this game going away ultimately. I will continue to say that Jalen Daniels has the best game of his career. Granted, he doesn't have a passing touchdown yet, so he will have over 200 passing yards and his first passing touchdown of his career. My same game parlay will hit. I've hit two to three legs in each of the past 2 shows.
Yes.
This is a game that I win because Dave didn't pick me.
Yes.
I love the
100%.
logic there. And then Adam, the almost winner of the show, if I didn't get to input my obviously brilliant mind, what's your final thoughts of the 1, the 2, the all of the games for the Monday Night Football Showdown?
Yeah, listen, normally you come to me for game specials and crazy bets and stuff that's 10-1 or 25-1, and we've had some fun.
Right.
We even hit one of those a couple weeks back as well. So it is a good time. But listen, if I'm going to give you a crazy bet, we don't need crazy odds on it. Maybe that's a reason not to play it, I guess. But here's my crazy bet that I gave our crew before the show, which is both the Bengals and the Bills to cover their numbers tonight and win at, I think, what was it, plus 200, plus 250, something like that, somewhere in that vicinity. A little 2-game parlay on both the Bills to cover the 4.5 and the Bengals to cover the 7.5. And you may be thinking, wow, Adam, why is that crazy? Why is that a crazy thing? You're picking the 2 favorites to cover. What in the world is weird about that? I'll tell you what's weird about that. The NFL, which has been drunk for 3 weeks. I'll give you a stat. Underdogs of 5.5 plus points. Okay. 5.5 plus points are now 13-2 against the spread going into these 2 games here tonight with 9 outright wins, including 4 or 5 yesterday. So we have just not seen the favorites showing up to the party, to keep throwing that word out, to do their jobs. And so that's my crazy bet of the night. My crazy bet is that the Bengals and Bills actually cover the number and both win as favorites in a parlay.
Well, not everyone can recover from the night before, so some people can't show up to the next party, or at least the day party. Come on now. Dave, what do you got for your final thoughts of 1, 2, or all of the madness tonight?
So a couple things, right? Case, you coming with the sack prop is like that person that comes to the party with that dish that you just don't know what it is, and they bring it, and it sits there, and then, like, you go over to be nice and taste it, and they're like, how is it? And you're like, it's good. It's good. And then you don't finish it. You don't go back to it. That's what that prop was like. I mean, I love you, but that was crazy, okay? Listen, it
Wow.
happened to me when I lived in the Caribbean. The girls used to bring stuff into the office and be like, Dave, what do you think? And I would be like, oh, it's good. And then when they would leave the office, I'd throw it away. It was terrible.
All I heard was acquired
The
taste.
prop,
That's all.
listen, it is sometimes. And if it hits, you tweet at me and I will tweet back at you. I love it.
Mhm.
The game just moved to 4 across the world. Game number 1.
Officially.
So Adam is on the book side. I mean, like, I can't believe it. We're at this point that the book might need a favorite, but I think the book might need the Bills tonight. And an outright win might give them a shot. The total's coming down as well.
Okay.
The other game, I think, is the Cincinnati coming out party tonight. All right? I think Burrow gets healthy. I think T. Higgins gets his. Chase gets his. That's a blowout. If you want a Pittsburgh accent, I can dial that up anytime you need it. Speaking of which, I got to leave you with this. There ain't that many teams undefeated in the NFL, and they don't play in prime time, so we ain't going to get a chance to wear the Steelers stuff on here. But come on, boys.
I question the legality.
Girls.
But again, it's always
Maybe
a
a
great
late
time.
season flex.
Yeah, let's hold on to all of that. But as promised, it's always a great time when I get to hang out with you three gentlemen. Thank you for gracing everybody with your pregame presence. And as I've reminded you guys numerous times, make sure you're following each of us on X and Twitter so we can chat with you during the game. That's fine. You can hold us accountable for the best bets and all of my spectacular specials because I don't mind. Outside of following these guys, we've got my best bets. Real best bets coming on the other side with Donnie right side. So don't go anywhere. Say goodnight to these gentlemen, and I'll see you in a moment after this break.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, football fans, we got one more rally for the pregame party here on SportsGrid TV. And as you see, we dismissed the other 3 because we got to bring some stability to the table here. I get to hang out with Donnie right side, pick your brain, get your best bets, as well as my own, because I I didn't trust them to know my best bets quite yet. I threw all the surprises and curveballs at them because I just wanted
You
to see
didn't
how
give
they
your best
handled
bets to them?
I did not.
I got a guy on my show that never gives his best bets to me. So there you go.
Actually, I think he gives them to you in the fourth quarter because I hear
exactly.
y'all going at it at that point.
Oh, yeah, we're ready.
So, first, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All
Set
right.
it up. Tee it up for us.
I'm feeling good about it. So hold on to our hats. I got Jaguars second quarter spread at plus 2.5 because of the expectation of what the defense is supposed to do. Most importantly, sometimes how long it takes for the Bills to get their game going.
Yeah.
Josh Allen weathering a little bit of an injury here. We don't know whether he's going to spread the ball, run the ball. Most people are counting on the run game here. So what do we think about Jags second quarter?
It's not a bad play, but here's the interesting part about this game, which we're going to line up both of these in just a few moments. You're looking at two teams that can't afford to go 0-3 on the season, right? Cincinnati Bengals are the home team tonight. They're favored to win this game. They should win that. But the Jacksonville Jaguars wasted an opportunity against the Miami Dolphins. Week number 2 didn't look good at all against the Browns, who we figure out probably aren't a good team. And now you're going on the road to take on the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills have that mini bye built in. So if you are playing that angle, maybe a little bit rust factor comes in. But also keep in mind, the Jaguars need their best effort. 0-3, their season is probably done here. So I can agree with you on that one. They need to have their best effort in the first half just to stay in this game.
Exactly what I'm counting on. They have to feel that heat and that intensity ramping up from the beginning. Then I've got James Cook, 70-plus rush, combined with receiving yards, because, again, we know what's really going to pan out here. The expectation is for them to run the ball, but Jaguars defense want to go against the expectation. They want to be able to stop them on both sides. So like it, love it. What do we think about that?
Yeah, I think James Cook is big. I like the way he was in the first 2 games. And also, I think the Buffalo Bills are winning. And even hearing the guys talk before this, it's interesting to me that this morning doing the early line, it was a 5.5-point number. Right. Now we're seeing 4.5, and I heard Dave saying now 4s are coming across the board. I don't buy into that. I love the home team here on a Monday night game with extra time off and the Buffalo Bills being 2-0 in that aspect of it. So I expect a pretty good performance out of Allen. But James Cook has been phenomenal this season. Look, it's 70 yards here. He could be running 10 carries, 40 yards, have that 25, 30-yard play, and you're in the ballpark. For me tonight in this first game, I do have a parlay, but I'm going to buy down a couple options here. I love Travis Etienne tonight. I think he has to be the key ingredient for the Jacksonville Jaguars to keep that pass rush at bay and make sure that you're having extra time to sort of run the ball and get your offense going in that first half, which, again, plays right into you. If you have a good season, a good first half, you're going to have to get them going. Travis Etienne, 25 yards, alt rush. Also, Khalil Shakir, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. The guy, look, he might be their number 1 option at this point now, and I have him just to get 25 yards, and also Gabe Davis. Love this angle of it. See Stephon Diggs over the weekend, returns home to Minnesota. They get smashed, but he plays really well. Gabe Davis tonight goes back to Buffalo. Come on, 25 yards. If all 3 of those hit, it's a plus 108 number. I'm buying down. I think it make it work.
I love that a lot, too, because you got Diggs, who finally had his big game. I mean, obviously it didn't turn into a victory for them, but 94 receiving yards for Diggs. He hasn't touched that so far this season. So, and Tom Vecchio put it this way, the revenge game for Davis. So putting all of those elements together, why can't that one work out?
Exactly.
I actually love that quite a bit. I'm going to continue to add to mine. No parlay here, but I do have Trevor Lawrence over 242.5 passing combined with rushing yards. I mean, obviously when the panic comes in, these guys use their legs. He has had a number of rushing yards over the last 2 games. So if he's going to get close to that number, obviously I think the rush game helps out quite a bit. We'll keep it on the quarterback conversation. Josh Allen under 30.5 pass attempts. That's largely just considering what the rush game should do tonight for the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, if he's weathering any sort of injury, then that again plays into the attempts. And plus, he only had 23 attempts is the most attempts that he's had on the season. Other than that, it's been 15. So what do we think?
By the way, it's a good look here. And also Trevor Lawrence, when your back is up against the wall, so you're 2-0 for the Buffalo Bills. You're going to take it as it comes. Like, you know what? We're here. Maybe live to fight another day on some plays. Trevor Lawrence can't afford that. And the reason I say that is if he's going to be shooting it downfield, you're going to pick up the yards. But also, 3rd and 4. If you have to run over 2 linebackers to get that first down, he's going to do that tonight, so it's a pretty good look on that end of it. For my money tonight, moving forward, Jamar Chase, I think he has a big game tonight along with Joe Burrow. But if we are just focusing on that football game with the Buffalo Bills, Lawrence has to have a big game. If he doesn't, it's a wrap. He's paid that big games here. He is.
Absolutely. Do you have anything else for the Commanders versus Bengals game? Because a lot of us just think, Bengals need to show up entirely, and they need to put this one completely out of the book. So what do you got for that one?
Yeah, that parlay, again, bring it up here. It's Jamar Chase, 50 yards receiving, along with scoring a touchdown, and Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdown passes. That's at a plus 180 number. But if we're being honest tonight, I love the fact that T. Higgins is coming back.
He says he's 100%, but even if he's not, what a great decoy out there, which means you can't roll your coverage to Jamar Chase. I think Joe Burrow has a great night tonight. I think they can abuse that secondary. So I'm looking for a good performance. And welcome to the season, Cincinnati Bengals, with a win tonight, Kasey.
Finally.
Yeah.
And you said it. Hamstring injuries are kind of finicky, so why not use him as a decoy and continue to roll? Love all those bets, Donnie, but you can get more of Donnie, his bets, and the rest of the crew because In-Game Live Pro Football Game Day is coming up next. Stick with us here on SportsGrid TV.
Do we have a fantasy star